right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to the third episode of Milk Minutes, brought to you by Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding. I will be your host today. I am Bianca Suggs, the Director of Maternal and Child Health for Healthy Start, overseeing both the Center for Urban Breastfeeding as well as our doula program. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the Center for Urban Breastfeeding is Healthy Start's lactation support program, in which we offer breastfeeding educational classes, 24/7 access to lactation consultants through our Latch line, and resources, resources when available. If you are prenatal, we strongly encourage you to please enroll with us so we can support all your breastfeeding needs on your breastfeeding journey. To enroll, you can visit our website. Also, the link is provided in the chat. Postpartum, if you're already on your breastfeeding journey and need some more support, please do not hesitate to contact our Latch line, which is also provided in the chat. And like I said, we have CLCs on call 24/7. So that's 7 days a week, any time of day, holidays, weekends, middle of the night, we're here for you. So this episode is exciting because this month is exciting. We are celebrating Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And to introduce that month, we have Mrs. Demia Tyler with us today, who is Healthy Start's Director of Strategic Initiatives. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Demia. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. As Bianca stated, my name is Demia Tyler. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives for Healthy Start Pittsburgh. And so previously, I was once over the Cubs direction. But beyond that, my background, I am a CLC, a certified lactation counselor. I'm also a certified doula. I am a Lamaze certified childbirth educator. And so my background is just really all things maternal and child health, birth work. And so I'm very excited to be talking to you today, Bianca, about National Breastfeeding Month.
Thank you so much. So let's kick it off. Tell us, what is Breastfeeding Awareness Month? Why is it important?
Yes, it is a month of this really focusing on advocacy, focusing on policy, focusing on support all around breastfeeding. And so the United States Breastfeeding Committee made August National Breastfeeding Month in August 2011. And so here we are now still celebrating National Breastfeeding Month. And why is it important? It's important because, especially in the United States, our breastfeeding rates are not where they need to be as compared to other developed countries and other underdeveloped countries. Our breastfeeding rates are much lower. We're falling behind. And so even our Healthy People 2020 goals are for us to improve our breastfeeding duration rates at 6 months and at 12 months. And so National Breastfeeding Month is an opportunity to highlight and identify policy and advocacy efforts that are going to move the needle in that way. So during this month, there's so many ways to celebrate. Within the month, there are several different weeks. So the first week, and the week that we're in right now, is World Breastfeeding Week. It lasts from August 1st to the 7th. There's also August 8th to the 14th is Indigenous Milk Medicine Week. So just really highlighting and celebrating our Indigenous folks and their breastfeeding experiences. Week 3 is lasts from August 15th to the 21st, and that's Asian and Pacific Islander Breastfeeding Week. And then lastly, and the one that the Cub really holds dearly, is Black Breastfeeding Week. That lasts from August 25th to August 31st each year. And all of this is a part of National Breastfeeding Month.
Nice. We love to hear it. So how do you think us here at Healthy Start, and specifically the Center for Urban Breastfeeding, how do we align with Breastfeeding Awareness Month?
Yeah. So as an agency, one of our overall goals is to support breastfeeding and increase breastfeeding initiation and duration rates. That is a goal of the National Healthy Start. And so obviously that trickles down to Healthy Start Pittsburgh. So as a whole agency, we train our staff annually in breastfeeding education. We're supporting and tracking our participants' breastfeeding goals, and really trying to figure out how do we navigate some of the intricacies that families experience related to breastfeeding, or that fall in their path whenever they're trying to breastfeed. How do we support and help them navigate some of those issues? So that's the agency as a whole. I mean, from program to program, our fatherhood person, as you guys heard a couple weeks ago, Mr. Art joined us, or joined you, Bianca, to talk about breastfeeding. So our fatherhood program, our home visiting program, our Hello Baby program, no matter what program you're enrolled in or engaged with at Healthy Start, we're talking about breastfeeding so that we can increase those numbers. But then when you just zone in on the Healthy Start Center for Urban Breastfeeding, the CUB, the focus there is really to increase breastfeeding initiation and duration rates with Black families. And when we look at the national numbers, Black families breastfeed at disproportionately lower rates. And that's the same for local numbers as well. And so it's really important for us to have some really focused support for our Black breastfeeding families to help them to navigate the unique experiences that we have and the unique challenges that we experience to breastfeeding, such as we're more likely to return to work sooner. So what does that mean for the breastfeeding journey? We're more likely to have jobs where we don't have the breastfeeding supports. So what does that mean for or maternal supports embedded within the workplace? So what does that mean for the breastfeeding journey? And so the CUB's whole goal is to support Black families to breastfeed so that we can increase those rates of breastfeeding at 6 months, breastfeeding at 1 year, exclusively breastfeeding, which means giving your baby only breast milk for the first 6 months, if that's what you choose to do. And then introducing solid foods and accompanying that with breast milk. We do everything that we can to support families to achieve those goals. So our work is so intertwined in the work of National Breastfeeding, or in the purpose of National Breastfeeding Month. And we do it all year. So we're not just doing this in August. We're doing this September, October, November, December, January, February. Anytime, like Bianca said, you call the CUB 24/7, 365. We have somebody who's here to support you, whether it be assessing your support needs and providing you encouragement, providing you with supplies, if that's what's required based on your assessment. We do everything that we can to support the Black family to continue breastfeeding.
That's right. So you had touched on specifically Black communities having low initiation rates. Can you tell us, give us some examples about some more of those contributing factors to that?
Yeah, so locally, we all know that there was a report released back in 2019, I think it was, that really highlighted some of the disparities that Black families experience locally. And one of the things that was highlighted related to like workplace experiences are that, again, Black families disproportionately work in service jobs. So just imagine you're working at a place, I'll just give an actual example. We had a couple years ago, we offered our families Willow pumps. We offered a couple families Willow pumps, and then we followed their journeys throughout their use of this particular pump. And so just for context, a Willow pump is a hands-free pump. And so we provided these to three working families who worked in atmospheres where they otherwise didn't have break times to pump. So one was a construction worker, one was a phlebotomist, and I forget the occupation of the third. But I just want to say that to highlight that these are the areas that our families are working in. They're working in service industry jobs where they don't necessarily have breaks to pump. They're working in lab, in medical jobs where they don't always have the necessary adequate time to pump. So just imagine being a nurse or a CNA at a hospital. You get the breaks that you get, and that's it. You don't have the additional time to pump, and that pumping time that you need really determines whether or not your breastfeeding journey is going to continue, because if you don't continue to pump, then your supply dries up. Remember, breastfeeding is supply and demand. So you have to maintain that schedule in order to keep up that supply. Also, that's less food for your baby. That's less breast milk for your baby. So that, that really impacts the breastfeeding journey. So those are some of the unique experiences that Black families disproportionately experience. We're disproportionately in those jobs. So we're not at a much lower level are we in jobs where you just have, whatever break time you need to breastfeed. Another contributing factor is that Black families are more likely to go back to work in a shorter period of time. They don't have access to maternity leave a lot of times. And again, those first couple of weeks are so crucial in continuing breastfeeding. And so that's where the importance of advocacy during this month comes in. How can we support, whether it be connecting you to resources to help to have the conversation around workplace accommodations. Next week, Bianca will be interviewing Women's Law Project and talking about workplace accommodations, which we, historically try to get the information out in the Cub. Where they'll be providing hands-free pump when it's appropriate and necessary. We try to do whatever we can to really support some of those unique experiences.
Thank you. Thank you. And you may have touched on this a little bit in the beginning, but how can someone participate in this month to celebrate breastfeeding awareness?
Yes, there's so much that you can do to participate. There's things that you can do on an individual level, like just breastfeeding, sharing information about breastfeeding, referring people to the Cub if you know that they're going to be breastfeeding. So you got a friend who's pregnant, she wants to breastfeed, refer her to the Cub. We have Breastfeeding 101 to get you started off right so that you have the necessary information and education whenever you're starting your breastfeeding journey. Talking to your workplace about breastfeeding accommodations. There's also activities that are like actual events that are going on throughout the month. I know our partner organization, PBBC, Pittsburgh Black Breastfeeding Circle, they're holding their annual breastfeeding celebration on Sunday, August 28th from 11 to 8 at the Highland Park Lake Point Shelter. So look out for that. As for Healthy Start, typically we do something big to celebrate, but this year we're taking a pause and instead we'll be highlighting some of our local Black lactation professionals, highlighting and celebrating them, which is just as much a part of advocacy and support as, referring somebody to the Cub, is letting folks know that there are Black lactation professionals out here who are ready to support you. And there's a lot of them. They're growing. So we're growing in numbers, and we want to make sure that folks know that they exist and know how they can access those lactation professionals. So we'll be highlighting that throughout the month.
Sounds great.
And one thing that I forgot, we'll also be doing Milk Minutes every week this month. So instead of just doing Milk Minutes once a month, as it has been over the last couple months, we'll be doing it every week. And so I know Bianca, I speak for Bianca when I say we hope that you all tune in. We're going to have some great speakers, some great topics, and we want you all to get all this information.
Definitely. And share. I'm excited about this month. Like Demia said, we are coming to you same time, same place every week to celebrate Breastfeeding Awareness Month. So next week we have Sophia Elliott as well as Maggie Neely from the Women's Law Project coming in to speak with us about just your rights within the workplace in regards to pregnancy and lactation. So really, really excited about that and the other topics to come. So I want to thank you, Ms. Demia Tyler, for coming in and introducing this beautiful month to us, and we look forward to celebrating.
Yay! You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.